Drew, you gonna drive yourself crazy trying to make these girls be what you want them to be. It's taken me a couple weeks to see you want to change the way the group acts. You can't change the way they act. They've been acting like this for 13 seasons. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Real Housewives of Atlanta season 13. This is episode 15. And like I was saying, Drew, these girls been doing the same stuff that they've been doing for 13 seasons. And I'm seeing Drew is a personality. She wants people to do what she does. And that never works. It never works. I mean, she takes like-minded people to a whole different level. And that just don't work, baby. You gotta let the people be them. And that's what I said. You're gonna drive yourself crazy. Especially with LaToya. LaToya is gonna have you drinking liquor and taking blood pressure medication with the liquor, girl. You're gonna be crazy as heck. Anyway, moving on. Ciao. Cynthia, girl. Cynthia, why you make me have to go and retract statements that I made just a few weeks ago? A few weeks ago, I was praising you about you in a maxi dress and how a woman flows in a maxi dress and graceful, and then you come in here this week and trip over the damn dress. We got a whole scene of you and your clumsy self being goofy and tripping over your dress. Ooh, that's Cynthia, child. Cynthia. Anyway. So, listen. So, Drew extends her invitation to New Orleans to the ladies to bring their babies. She said, if you want to, you can bring your baby with you. Nobody brings a baby except for Brooklyn, who was crying on the bus, child, and the girls was giving. Child left my baby at home, honey. I don't want to hear that shit. So, there's that. I said, whatever, honey. So, they're over here on this bus ride, honey. LaToya is not drinking. She's not drinking. And Drew led on to say that she had actually gone to church. They had gone to church together or whatever. And I was noticing LaToya, there's always been a thing with LaToya and Drew. But it just, I don't know where they are. It's weird. One moment it seems like they're okay. Another moment they're not okay. The whole thing ends up coming out about the church thing. She gave her a ride home from the party over at, were they at Shamia's house? When they had the little niece's party. And she got so drunk she had to leave her car and got a ride from Drew. And in that time she ended up having some talk with the driver, which is a friend of Drew's. And he offered to take her on to the church. She talked about, issues about the alcohol and all of this kind of carrying on. And it wasn't actually Drew that invited her to church. It was the driver. And Drew basically just seen her at church. But all here in New Orleans, she's acting like she can't stand Drew. It's weird. It's weird. And then the thing with Drew is Drew wants to beat her over the head, and you want her to be you. She's not you. She's not you. And you're wrong for that. Now, she is ridiculous. Now, let me be clear. Drew is a ridiculous ass. Absolutely ridiculous. Not Drew, I'm sorry. LaToya is a ridiculous ass individual. She is completely ridiculous. Her behavior is totally unacceptable. I wouldn't walk to a corner store with her the way she acts half of the time. But she is LaToya. Period. She's not Drew. So you can't expect her to act like you, Drew. She's not you. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's it. It's a bit much, and you will drive yourself crazy trying to make somebody act how you want them to act. They can't be nobody but them, baby. You got to back off some. And you did put her on blast because she didn't come out and share about her going to church or wanting to, struggle, that there was any type of a struggle possibly with alcohol. You just start putting that, so you was wrong for that, Drew. Anyway. Listen, we're going to get into all that. So over there on the bus and everything, once they get home, they get to New Orleans. They get off the bus and stuff, and they're down there, and Drew got the keys for the rooms. And she's like, come on, let's have a twerk off contest to see who's going to get the best rooms. And Kenya's already in her mode of not wanting to have a good time. Now you mad that you're the only one that brought Brooklyn. Oh, shut up already with that mess. But it's like she was just not wanting to have a good time. Or maybe she was just irritated. And then the nanny hadn't got, that was probably, you know what? As a matter of fact, that's probably what it was. The nanny hadn't got there. So the first thing when they first got there and they got greeted, they had a little band there for them and all this. She was stuck to deal with Brooklyn herself. Brooklyn was, going from lap to lap. She was eating chips from Portia's, and that was the funny part. Of course, she would go right over to the Portia. I said, girl, as much as you can't stand Portia, honey, Brooklyn likes Portia, honey. She went right over to the Portia. Portia's feeding her the chips. She said, you got to ask your mommy, baby. Shit, Brooklyn, she ain't give a damn. Kenya don't give a damn. She just didn't want to be bothered. You feed her chips till you get tired. I don't give a shit. I don't want to be bothered with her. And I think that might be why Kenya was in such a bad mood. But she said, let's do the twerk off. She going to say, I'm not going to downgrade my self-respect and this, that, and the other. I was like, what is she talking about? I'm not going to degrade myself. What are you talking about? She kept saying, can I just have my key? Now, here's Drew. Why don't you just want to have fun? Drew is doing to them what her husband does to her. Drew, she's grown. She ain't got to do that if she don't want to do that. I mean, you serious right now? Stop it. Stop trying to control people. Anyway, so Kenya was like, please just give me my key. So she gave her the worst room. She gave her the key to the worst room. Kenya went right on up to the little desk, upgraded her room to a suite, to a better suite, and that's it. That's it. Ain't no thing. That's a classy move. That's a boss-ass move. I ain't arguing, but, not Kenya. She brought it up to throw some shade later, but what you did was a boss move. I would have never even mentioned it. You just upgrade your room and keep it moving. Keep it moving. Moving on. So they go out. They're going on this bike tour. I thought that was really cool. I didn't do that when I was in New Orleans, but that was cool. They had a little guy who took them around, and they did a little sightseeing. They were riding the bike, and they rode, and then they ended up going to eat. Marlo didn't come. Said her back was hurting her, so she didn't come. Candy is actually on the way. She hadn't got there yet. So they go to this place to eat, and they're trying fried alligator, okay? Our baby vegan over there, honey, with her hungry self, old hungry-ass Portia, she over there eating alligator. That's meat. And she said, I'm a baby vegan. So, when you're a baby vegan, you can make mistakes. You ain't make no mistakes. You ate some meat. You did what you wanted to do. Ain't no mistake. You ate some meat. Child. So they ate the meat. Then later on, she was eating fish and eating clams. She said, I'm actually eating the shell. She was hungry. She was hungry. Anyway. Then, here we go. Drew and LaToya get into it at the table. LaToya just is like, this is boring. Is this another Fallon party? It's boring. Cynthia then takes that time to basically correct LaToya about her behavior at Fallon's house. She told her, she said, girl, your behavior was really out of order. You can't just go in her house, talk about her husband, talk about her house, and all that just was wrong. You know, that was wrong. She said she was bored, and then she um, ended up. Drew asked her, "So why aren't you drinking?" And then that's what she goes in, leads in, and puts her on blast about how she went to church, and she said that she basically wasn't going to drink. She was trying to stop drinking, and all of this kind of carried on. I was like, now, why was that even necessary, Drew? That was shady. That was shady to put her out on Front Street. Um, you know, that was one of those things. I don't like stuff like that. I don't like how when you, and you ever had a person that you deal with that, let's just say maybe you told them you're going to go on a diet, and then they start patrolling everything that you eat. I thought you said you was on a diet. I thought you said you was on a diet. And meanwhile, you're not eating anything extreme. You're just eating. I mean, did somebody tell you that when you go on a diet, you don't eat no goddamn more? You know what I mean? I can't stand when people do stuff like that. It really grinds my gears. And that's how I felt about how Drew was acting. I was like, that's ugly. You and Latoya, that y'all little banter back and forth is irritating. And most of the time, it is Latoya that's the aggressor and the nasty one with it. But I don't like what you're doing in this moment. I don't like that. So Latoya gets to singing, honey. I don't feel like it, bitch. I said, oh. And Drew's like looking at her like, your girl, she called you a bitch, and it is what it is. Is what it is. Her and Kenya ended up getting up leaving. They leave. They leave. Kenya's telling her, girl, that's not right how they treated you, girl. Drew's trying to bully you. I said, boy, okay, so that's a new little spin. Sure enough, they go back to the hotel. Cynthia's sitting with Kenya. Kenya goes into this whole thing, telling her, Drew's bullying Latoya. She's a bully. I said, girl, you always got a new goddamn spin and an agenda, girl. I bet. So now she's a bully. Portia, Shamia, and Drew are talking. And Portia gets to this thing where she half high. She did half high up and drunk and gets to crying a little bit about her feelings are hurt because she's not trusting Marlo with this new friendship with Kenya. She not trusting her and her little feelings is hurt. And she's up there dropping a tear. I said, oh, no, that's just pitiful. Just pitiful. Child, the next day, honey, the next day, Brooklyn done took a blue damn crayon and done colored all over the people's shit, honey. All on the drawer, the door dresser drawers, all on the sheets, all. A mess. Candy finally arrives, and they're talking about going to do Zydeco. Zydeco is like a line dance, but it's kind of infused. It's like country line dancing infused with twerking and dropping it and like bounce music, like a bounce music type of thing. Real New Orleans child. So the lady is going to teach them. And I noticed Candy, this is something about Candy that's very immature. It's very immature, and I've noticed that Candy, if she's not excellent at something, she doesn't want to do it at all. And she shuts down. All the film of Candy at the Zydeco class, she's just kind of standing there looking supple. And she's unhappy because you're not good at it. Because she's so competitive with stuff. Girl, why can't you just loosen up and just have some fun? We know you're not the best dancer, but just loosen up and just have a little fun. You couldn't even accept it. She couldn't even embrace what it was. You know, and you stiff. It is what it is. Some people just can't dance. You know? I was like, oh, girl, that's a bad little Candy. But I noticed that Candy does that all the time. But it was so, you know, you couldn't even miss it. I was in this situation. It was terrible. Anyway, when they finished the Zydeco class, Marlo and Portia end up having a little chat. And child, it was pitiful. So they end up getting everything out about how they felt about you acting funny. No, I think you acted funny. I don't like it. You to hurt my feelings. Oh, my feelings is hurt. Okay, we both got feelings hurt. This, that, and the other. Girl, problem solved. But then Marlo had asked, girl, are the allegations true? Is any of the stuff that Kenya's saying true about you and the Bolo situation? And she's like, no. And she's like, and that hurts my feelings that you would even ask me to study. And she's like, girl, just answer the damn question. So she answered it. Problem solved, honey. They hugged it out. In the meantime, in between time, Kenya is on the bus going at it with Shamia. And on their call, and Shamia's accusing her of being Portia's lapdog, honey. And trying to like turn her against Portia. She not as good a friend to you as you are to her and all of this. It was a mess. It was a mess. Mess. I was like, ugh. They get on the bus. Marlo's quiet. And they're trying to ask, well, what was y'all talking about? And she's like, nah, we just had a conversation. Marlo says, just let me be quiet. And I get 2 more drinks, I'll tell you about it. That was odd. And I said, what are you telling us? I think we're getting ready to have some problems. Because they was actually on their way. We're probably back down on bourbon or whatever. I said, oof. You know, the liquor be flowing in New Orleans like this, honey. So I said, these girls get some liquor up in them. Is this getting ready to go left? We gonna see. I will see y'all, honey, right back here in the same spot next week, honey. And let's see. But I think things is getting ready to get a little when they add this liquor, honey. Trust me. And I'm telling you, the liquor be down to the Nola, honey. And water glasses. Come on with it, honey, Nola. You heard me, baby? They know how to have a good time, honey. Anyway, I'll catch y'all back here because I think it's going to go down.